So, the next topic we're going to talk about is leadership and success, being more charismatic in life and interviews. So, I did bump into a really amazing YouTube channel recently called Science of People, and it's managed by Vanessa Van Edward, and there is a pretty good video that she posted with Mel Robbins where they reference that charisma is not about confidence, your introverted self, extroverted self, or your personality. Instead, charisma is what you display to others, not who you are. And so when you display charisma, you are often more influential, seen as a leader, and successful. Charisma correlates with your likability. Do people find you approachable? Are you likable? Are people attracted to be around you? And do people love following you within leadership situations? Charismatic individuals pick up the people around them. When they output positive signals, they are strategic, purposeful signals. Narcissists give off negative signals, so people avoid and do not want to be around them. We all like to be around warm, competent people. These characteristics specifically portray your level of charisma. When you're around warm, competent people, it definitely helps you feel better and be your best self. So Vanessa Van Edward continues to describe the importance of warmth and competence. So they describe warmth as emotion-based individuals who are seen as people-pleasing and givers. Competence is when people are often fixers who like resolving problems and helping others. They are critical thinkers who always want to get things right. They go through life vetting everything and everyone. People may not take you seriously if you don't signal both warmth and competence. And so I really think that Vanessa is onto something, and we should definitely check out her videos. So within this video that she posted with Mel Robbins, they continue on to describe other characteristics that are under the umbrella of warmth and competence. And in order to show charisma, you should also show these different characteristics: reliability, trust, capability, powerful communication and presence. And she even gives examples of things you can do to communicate more powerfully. One of the examples is you can communicate with your hands to show a little bit more trust and presence. And also, she says the use of praying with your hands, like when you're describing something, you can always do the praying hands, and these are a little bit more communicative in the way that you can increase the trust or reliability of what you're saying by simply communicating more with your hands or communicating trust with what you're doing with your body language. And so other characteristics are intelligence, your lack of gullible characteristics, and also others are more comfortable and quick to be vulnerable with you. That really shows a little bit more charismatic person. If someone wants to be vulnerable with you versus avoiding that. Assertiveness and intentional intentionality. Assertive and intentional. Also purposeful eye contact. So you may be charismatic, but fail to signal these characteristics enough. Vanessa explains that, for instance, due to your introverted or analytical personality, you may be all these things, but you may not signal it enough to other individuals. And by not signaling these different traits to others as often, you will affect your charisma in their eyes. And so definitely signal the characteristics listed and keep an eye on, whether or not you are doing these things. You can always do these things more. So under signaling, she describes, is very common for high achievers who often think that their intelligence and qualifications will speak for them, and so they under display warmth and competence cues. I would probably say I probably lie within this example because I definitely am very analytical, definitely research a lot, was a data analyst, and also was an athlete. And overall, being in the military, I really believe that your actions speak louder than your words, and that we shouldn't really have to go out and describe all the things that are amazing about us. People should see, because you're leading by example. And so I oftentimes just go through life being my best self and hope that people recognize these things about me. And if they don't, so basically in life, I think I can probably do a better job of showing these cues, these warmth and competence cues, because I'm usually very analytical, and so it's hard to see these cues, especially because I don't focus on them. So the world does not believe this about you because you are under signaling these cues to others. And so straight intelligence and accomplishments will not make you more charismatic. You must display warmth and competence in personal interactions with repeated personal cues. Otherwise, people may not be quick to listen to you, follow you, respect you, share emotions, or be vulnerable around you. Charisma is not just first impressions, it's about every impression. Oftentimes we have a massive blind spot toward realizing our own level of charisma. Are you warm? Are you confident? Or do you undersignal these cues for charisma? You could definitely try out a quiz that is provided about charisma. It's found on thescienceofpeople.com/charisma, and I have not tried it yet, but I do think it would be something that I would love to try soon. You may beat me to it. It sounds like a great quiz that will definitely help you be a better leader and be more charismatic in life. And then also, if you're an entrepreneur, it'll help you maybe find a little bit more successes in your business. To go above and beyond following your results, have 3 people close to you also take this quiz. For example, family member, friend, or significant other. When you ask these 3 people to take the test, make sure that they take it as if they are you. That way, you will get some interesting words of feedback on whether or not you're actually displaying these competence cues and charisma cues and the warmth that you think you're displaying to others. Charisma verbal, nonverbal, and physical characteristic cues. They are things that you should do more to display warmth, confidence, and charisma. So here I have listed the first 10 seconds are most important. First impressions are important, and definitely do pay attention to what is going on during your first 10 seconds with an individual or group. Number 2, show your hands to show warmth. Do not hide them behind you or in your pockets. Definitely wave hello and talk with your hands. I naturally talk with my hands a lot. It's something I really cannot control. I think people laugh at me because I just always am using my hands when I talk. She does describe talking with your hands as a good thing. Most viral talks have the most hand gestures. And so speak with your both verbal and non-verbal cues. The brain is more apt to believe gestures over words. Gestures demonstrate truths and increase trust that you are telling the truth. And what I really loved about this video is that she gave a really good example where she was basically saying that there was a presenter talking on TED Talks, and they basically said something like, oh, there were, 5 people who went to the store that day, and then in reality, like, everyone in the audience was like, hello, questioning the, factual integrity of what he was saying, because what his body language was saying was completely different than what his words were saying. So in reality, when you're communicating, making sure that your body language aligns with your words is very important. It will only enhance the truth and reliability of what you're saying in the eyes of the audience. And so, when you're talking about 5 people, make sure you're actually showing in your body language that you're actually talking about 5 people. And that's just a simple way of describing it. And I really love not just her examples when she's describing things, but Vanessa has some really great face expressions and ways of communicating things. Like, I cannot change my voice. She does a really good job of it. Overall, her videos are absolutely amazing, so I would definitely follow her. She has a really great way of clearly communicating the topics that she's talking about. So if you really want to improve your communication skills, definitely check out her channel. And continuing on, so you can also focus on the space between you and the audience because it is important. Sit at least several feet from the camera, close-up signals, intimate moments, and when you're a little more far away, it will signal less intimate moments. And so definitely, be a little bit more aware of your distance between you and the camera, and then you and your audience. And so you can lean in for powerful, strong, important points that you're making, and you can deliver your message in a neutral voice without up talk or down talk. Breathe, use pauses, and do not communicate too fast. Now, I don't know how to explain up talk and down talk, but I think I do that all the time. And this was one of the examples I was talking about. Vanessa does describe this very, very well. So if you want to know more about up talk and down talk, definitely check out Vanessa's videos. She describes it very well. You can also ensure that your camera, laptop, and your body are communicating straight forward in front of you instead of at an angle, as if part of you has left the conversation and is about to run away. Now, I really don't follow this one because I just like being at an angle, so sorry guys. But anyway, when you're angled, the Vanessa describes that it almost seems as though you're not paying as much attention, and you come across as though you're trying to escape a conversation versus actually stay there. And you'll often notice this in real life, is that when you do want to escape a conversation, you're normally angled and like, I'll get you later, catch you later. So anyway, you usually are angled in that conversation when you're trying to leave. And so it's really something we naturally do. And if you want to show that you're really paying attention, try to not be angled. Instead, try to be straight on with your audience. I just like being angled when it comes to camera. So, oops. Anyway, you can also be more presentable with strategic, careful choice of your outfit, shoes, hair, makeup, glasses, and physical characteristics. When you dress more formally, you rise to the occasion and show your best self. So definitely put some focus on your outfit and the way you look, how you're presenting yourself. Wearing makeup is not inauthentic. It is solely you highlighting your best features. I really like this one because while I do wear a natural look overall, I do agree that you want to be presentable in life, and makeup is not about covering who you are. It's about showing your best features and really looking professional and well put together. And so, for example, if you're an entrepreneur, you may want to wear makeup just simply to allow yourself to be a little bit more confident and really highlight your positive, amazing features that you have, and feel best about yourself when you're going out into your day. And so I believe in, spending a little bit of time on makeup if you want to, and then your hair if you want to. You are your best self when you are doing what you feel is best for you. So if you want to wear makeup, wear makeup. If you want to do your hair and spend an hour doing it, do it. If you want to wear really nice clothing, then do so. My dad goes to Walmart wearing a suit and tie. And so if you want to wear a suit and tie and go to Walmart, do it. Nobody cares, and you will look amazing doing it. So do what you think is best, and what you feel most comfortable in. When you feel most comfortable, you will do the best in each of your situations. So set yourself up for success and do what you feel best and most comfortable in. Next one, perfection is not necessary. Your likability improves when you are real, you make mistakes, and you look human. Confront mistakes head on early within a conversation. When you disclose your imperfections and they occur in the beginning of an interview, it is more perceived proactively and positively. You definitely improve trust and likability. Now, if you avoid imperfections and you go the entire meeting perfectly, and then at the end you display an imperfection, your trust and likability is decreased and or lost. So, be strategic about confronting mistakes and imperfections head on. By doing so, you will improve your likability, your trust, etc. And so, don't try to be perfect in life or interactions. When you have mistakes and imperfections, it really shows you're human, and you will improve your likability and improve your presence and improve your charisma by simply being human, having mistakes, and confronting them head on, confronting them early on, instead of allowing the mistakes to show up at the end. I like to think that people will be objective and assess the situation holistically and be like, oh, that's a little baby mistake. In reality, you are amazing, which is why mistakes don't happen very often. But then when they do, people always focus on them. And I like to think that people will, holistically assess the situation, but in reality, they really don't. They will dwell on this little small mistake instead of focusing on all the amazing things you do. That's why I go through life thinking that people should be more optimistic and compliment and praise more often. We really don't thank each other or praise each other or show, gratitude for the amazing things that people do. Everyone is always focusing on the little things that are negative instead of all the amazing things that we accomplish. I really think in life, in jobs especially, employers should really focus on all the amazing things we do and not just this little mistake. And that's because, employees are most effective when they're happier within their job, and they're not going to be happy in their job if you're not, communicating some type of appreciation for all of the things that they do. Other cues for building trust and confidence. You can look away. This does allow you to answer more effectively and process information without added stressors. Looking up often means you are assessing a memory or critical thinking. This looking up or away shows deep thinking to provide best, most accurate responses. It is not an indicator of lying. So, I do like this one. I've never really heard someone clarify it in this way, but I really love it because I am introverted and I do have tendencies of both extroverted and introverted, but I'm definitely more introverted. And being that I'm introverted, I really like this one because I often get my, energy drained in social interactions, especially if I'm not around people that I feel comfortable with. And so I prefer to not do video conferences. I prefer to simply just be in the corner and take notes. I prefer to not be in the center of attention. It really stresses me out. And I don't necessarily like the whole eye contact thing because, when you're on camera, you have to focus on so many things. And I just want to focus on my job. And so, I don't really like meetings. I feel like they're not always productive. I just want to sit at my computer and output, content and research and content and do the technical side of all of my career paths. I like focusing on technical things and output. I feel like meetings, they take up a lot of time. They're so social. You just talk forever and you're pulled away from progress of outputting. And so I like to output. And so in life, I prefer looking away, taking notes, and so this one really is nice and refreshing to see that someone actually agrees that looking away is a good thing. You don't have to have eye contact at all times. You can actually be even more effective looking away because you don't have as many added stressors. And a simple, quick example of this that I've always believed in is when you are doing interviews. I am way more effective on a phone call interview. And that is because I can simply turn off every other aspect of what I'm doing and simply focus on my communication and really communicating an answer and response to every question they have in correlation with my resume. And so I am most effective on phone interviews when I'm job searching. But when you do a video interview, my favorite thing to say is that if you give me a video interview, I will never get that job. And I know it up front and early. If you interview me via the phone, you will hear how effective I am. You will hear my qualifications, and you will see my best self. But once you turn on that video, I have so many things to focus on that I get overwhelmed, stressed out, and in my opinion, not only can I get overwhelmed in video interviews, but I also feel like my look just will lose me my job. I do look like I'm 20, so my entire resume of decades of experience just goes out the window. So I, in general, most often than not, will not land a job via a video interview. Instead, I will land all my jobs most always via phone interviews, not in-person interviews. These are my personal theories as a scientific data analyst minded person. Next, perform a recall test. See what you do when you are recalling truths. Next tip, know when you're showing inauthenticity or lying tells, because you may be doing this when you're telling the truth, and this really impacts others' ability to perceive you competently. Inauthentic gestures include touching your nose, lip pressure, touching your forehead, frown, mouth shrug. I don't know about this one. Covering your mouth, clenched fists, crinkling your nose in disgust, and other cues. But these can often be misunderstood because individuals under stress and anxiety also display these as well. And so you may be displaying these different gestures because you're stressed and it's just something you're naturally doing. But in reality, they are actually inauthentic lying tells. And so you really don't want to display these. They just really impact your charisma. So they're not the best cues to be showing. Nervous tells include touching your face, clenching your stomach, fidgeting, awkward pauses, and lip movements. And the next tip is probably one you see most often in life: mirroring nonverbals. It is very common for people to associate the concept of mirroring as a positive thing. If you're sitting alongside someone else and you mirror them, you will increase your trust and likability by mirroring that person. Here are some virtual meeting and interview tips. So I definitely think that, as I noted, virtual meetings and interviews can be a fun process. Everyone has their own perspective on them. I think I've done like probably thousands of interviews at this point, thousands of virtual meetings at this point. And so I really am very analytical as well. So I have a lot of scientific theories about all the data points of my life. And so in reality, I think I'm a pretty good mentor on this topic, just because I really have done so many interviews and I have found a lot of successes in life, which you could see by my resume. It's pretty elaborate and detailed, and you know, I've done a lot of amazing things. But anyway, some tips for virtual meetings and interviews. You can definitely maintain a real background in virtual meetings versus the virtual backgrounds. For instance, Vanessa describes that when you use a virtual background image, definitely be sure to choose one that describes who you are, your personality, because, you can use them to help you foster engagement with others and increase enthusiasm. For instance, during a certain part of your video presentation, you can use virtual backgrounds strategically, but you really don't want to use them the entire time. It's better to really show who you are by having a real background. And so, real backgrounds can spice up a call by showing who you are in a fun way. You can have your degree, your awards, certifications, books, or things that just simply show your personality in the background. The background can be a hidden asset and topic of discussion in awkward moments. My background's pretty boring. It's literally just a hotel room, so. You can shift to just audio. That is okay. Shifting to only audio allows you for the best delivery, especially for introverts, because it can often be overwhelming to focus on what you say versus physical body language versus face expressions. And so when you are able to focus solely on your verbal delivery and what you say, you are best apt to communicate better and respond most effectively. And so this one is so important. I love this one. I 100% agree that I most especially prefer only audio conversations, because then I can turn off all other things and focus simply on my communication. And as an introvert, the more I have to focus on my face expressions and what I'm doing holistically, it's just overwhelming and causes my energy to be drained. It's tiring. I don't like focusing on all these different things. It's a lot of effort. Physical tips. You can have your shoulders back, which I need to do more. Use strategic distances from the camera. Use hand gestures, like waving. And next one, charisma, lack thereof leads to lawsuit liabilities. I think this one definitely is something that I talk about a lot as well. We definitely, and charisma, lack thereof leads to lawsuit liabilities. We definitely see this in life. We dislike people who exude less warmth because it leads to a reduced perception of competence, which leads to more lawsuits. Share more warmth cues to decrease your susceptibility to being sued in a lawsuit or being deemed incompetent in your personal and professional life. You should definitely show more warmth cues. The more warmth and competence that you show, the more charismatic you will be perceived. On a similarly negative note, in moments of disrespect from difficult people, the best response is often to confront the moment head on by asking, "You seem X." And then, for example, describe an emotion, like, "You seem upset, frustrated, uncomfortable," etc. And then continue on with, "What is wrong?" Then wait to see how they respond. Confronting the moment in a question allows them to answer yes or no, then explain. Confronting the moment in a question allows them to answer yes or no and explain. This offers you more information so you can respond accordingly. Next tip, be intentional with verbal and physical cues. Do not embody excessive movement, vocal power, or ranges in your voice unless displaying enthusiasm. Excessive fidgeting, etc., Focus on intentional, powerful word use. Focus on clothing, nails, glasses, hair, and other physical and verbal output. Introverts often show incongruent output like fake smiles unknowingly without intending to do so. Real smiles are not mouth focused. Instead, they also include your eyes too and crow's feet lines. So smile for real. Do head nods and triple nods because they're indicative of enthusiasm and they tell you that you're listening and that you really want to hear more. So definitely head nods are a good thing. Tilt your head to show active listening. This can also be a very positive thing in a conversation, the head tilt, based on Vanessa's research. And so you can definitely show warmth without saying a word. And you can use these cues like smiling for real, using your whole face, using head nods and a head tilt to really show increased cues of warmth within your interactions with others. Because this increase in warmth can allow you, without saying a word, to help others feel less awkward and also feel like you're more approachable and more comfortable being around you and talking to you and being vulnerable with you. And so my references for this video are YouTube video with Mel Robbins and Science of People, Vanessa Van Edward, and the video that I'm referencing is Psychological Tricks to Boost Your Influence, Income, and Impact Today. It is the Mel Robbins podcast video. And then also referenced in this video, a separate YouTube video by Vanessa Van Edward called The Secret to Being Likeable and Confident. So I will give you a link down below if you want to check these videos out next. And I really think that we should do a Q&A live video to further discuss all these different topics and then maybe discuss, fun moments of these situations in our lives, because I feel like we all should have at least a few funny moments about these different things. Because life can be oftentimes embarrassing. So I think we should talk about these fun moments and discuss some of these really impactful tips about being more charismatic in your life, both professionally and personally, because I think these are very vital. Individuals that are just like normal everyday people, but also even the President of the United States must really look into these things, and they do follow them. They probably know way more about these competence cues than we even realize. And so I really think that individuals in life, they can really reduce their legal liabilities, get sued less often, have more professional success in their jobs, or just, be more personable and have great relationships, great friendships, by simply implementing some of these tips a little bit more in your life. And so they can be really priceless. And so I think we should do a video later on, live video stream, and just simply talk about these different topics. If you're interested in a live stream, definitely do comment below and let me know if you're interested, and maybe we could figure out a plan for that. Thank you all, and I'll talk to you all next time.